Hi, everybody. It's Doc's Daily. It's Monday, Hangover Monday after the Super Bowl. It's Monday, February 10th, 2025. And you see these three guys? They're not just the three in front of you today. They are also what we call Super Bowl winners. I mean, I'm not getting a ring, and neither are you two, but we did get some cash yesterday, and all of our followers got cash, which is what you pay us for. So, and if you followed, I didn't go back and check each prop that we gave out on the Super Bowl show, but I think we did pretty good on the Super Bowl show. I think we did get screwed on the one. They called a penalty. They moved the penalty back, and they kicked the field goal over, I think, for what was Robert. He liked the under 47 and a half, and that ended up being a 48. But overall, we did well. And so welcome in. Don't forget Doc's Daily. Don't forget where you get our best bets, like the Super Bowl winners. You go to DocSports.com/free60. You can get a free $60 account to try any of us out or all of us out. How about that? So it's $30 per day to check out per sport. So today I have a best bet in the NBA, small play in college basketball. Griffin, what do you have today?
I've got a 5-unit college basketball play. It's part of a 2-play card. That goes off at 6 p.m. tonight. And then I have a 5-unit NBA selection that goes off at 7 p.m. tonight, just part of a 1-play card. It's just a single individual pick. Obviously, NHL, we're on break right now. I also have a soccer 4-unit play. So 2 top plays today. Everything else is a little bit smaller volume. Feeling great about my plays. Phenomenal weekend, phenomenal Super Bowl. Nick, what do you got rolling?
Hit all of our props yesterday, 3-0 for plus 1,700 there. Tonight, we just got 2 plays in the NBA. We stayed off of college basketball as I didn't see too much value in that. So we got 2 NBA plays going off tonight, but that is it. Lower volume card, 6-unit total there tonight, Craig.
So there you go, DocSports.com/free60. So that'll load up 60 in your account. Of course, if you're already used it before or already an existing customer, just go to the grid and get in on your sport that you want. I got NBA. Nick's got NBA. Griffin's got a little bit of everything, so you can check out what you like if you like college basketball, soccer, or NBA. Now, remember, don't buy the NHL right now. The NHL is off 2 weeks, right, Nick?
Yeah.
2 full weeks.
2 weeks.
2 full
Crazy.
weeks. I don't know whose idea was that.
I think it's international play right now. They got
right. It's like it's the 4 league. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. But hey, we got tons of hoops action, and we're going to keep you locked and loaded. All right, let's get started. I got to catch a bus back home, so we're going to try to make this show about 20 minutes. NBA today, little juicy. Got some interesting matchups here. Griffin, why don't you kick us off with a free play?
Absolutely, Craig. And, I'm rolling right back to this Portland at Denver matchup. I talk about Portland all the time, and the public's kind of catching attention. Portland, they roll into this game 20-30 on the year. They're 8-2 in their last 10 games. They're coming off a brutal beatdown loss to Minnesota in their most recent matchup. I mean, it was a blowout. They lost by nearly 20 points in that game. This will be Portland's second consecutive road game, and now they have to deal with Denver twice on the road. That's never an easy task for any team. The public, as I mentioned, they're all over Portland right now due to how potent they've been against the spread this season. The issue is it's become too public now. Portland has failed to cover the spread against Minnesota in their most recent matchup, and I think that caps off their insane against the spread tear that they've been on. The market has finally caught up to their potential in my eyes, and they're now juicing numbers up so the public continues to ride this trend, which in my eyes, as I mentioned again, I think it's the downfall. Denver, they're playing their first of a 4-game homestand tonight. I believe they're going to absolutely throttle right past Portland in this matchup. Denver has all the momentum. They're on a 6-game winning streak, and now they're stout 17-8 at home. Give me the Denver Nuggets here tonight, Craig, and I'm laying the 9.5 points in this matchup.
You know what we call that? He's stepping in front of the express train. Hey,
damn right.
It might jump off the rails. It did last time out. And remember, if you watch that Portland game, they were up at half and then just fell apart the second half. It's not they're winning with defense. I mean, that's a foreign thing in the NBA, and especially for a young team like that, you don't think they're going to win with defense. That's a problem, though, because Denver is scoring some points right now. Joker is playing maybe he's not MVP this year because it seems like you can give it to him every year. SGA is probably going to get it this year, but he's playing at that level. So good game there tonight. You can make arguments on both, which as a handicapper, that's what I want. I want to be able to see both sides of the thing and then make my decision. Nick, what do you like as a free play here in the NBA?
Yeah, we got the Spurs and the Wizards right now. Both teams coming into this game, they dropped 2 games in a row, both sides, the Spurs and the Wizards. Spurs just dropping a heartbreaker to the Orlando Magic by 112 to 111. The Wizards, on the other hand, they lost to the Hawks at home by 14, 125 to 111. Both teams in their last 10 games, they're 3-7 here. The current line in this game is minus 10.5 points for the San Antonio Spurs here. These Wizards, they've been competing here the last couple weeks. They've been a little bit better on the road than they do at home here. I like the Washington Wizards to cover late in this game. I think they're playing competitive basketball. I would take the points with the Washington Wizards plus 10.5 tonight over the Spurs, Craig.
I was kind of thinking over in this matchup too. I kind of think the Spurs are like, they're just, I mean, so they were potent on offense before. Now they got Fox. It just gives them another guy that can get them easy baskets at the rim. Sometimes the Spurs team fell in love with the three-point line. And, Fox is not like just a three-point guy. I mean, he gets a lot of in-the-paint kind of touches, and I like that because then you can get better three-pointers from inside out, or you can get layups. So it's the old analytics. Fox is a great analytics player because he either gets you layups or open three-pointers on the kickout. I like a little free play action. How about the Mavs tonight? I know no Anthony Davis, but this team – they beat Boston without Anthony Davis, by the way. Then they come back and win. Nice game on his return. Of course, he unfortunately, story of his career, injured again. But, man, we saw glimpses of what this team is. They're playing motivated basketball because everybody's asking about Luka. And it's like, do you not remember Kyrie Irving? I know he kind of took willingly took that, that back seat. I don't think we're going to see that anymore. They need Kyrie Irving. Back when he was with LeBron, when he would take over at times. I think he does that in this game. This is a Kings team that they got your two favorite players. It should be called the Bulls West now that with DeRozan and
transfer portal right there, right?
Yeah,
right to the Kings.
They were like, the Bulls were like, we don't really like these two guys, and Sacramento willingly took both of them. So I like the Mavs here tonight. I don't know what Sacramento's doing. Like, I'm never a fan of getting older. And that's what they did. They got older. Like, I would have bought this guy out. I would have bought him out. Like, if I was trading for him, I would have been like, hey, this is a buyout. We're going to save. We're going to try to go after somebody in the offseason. Hey, Luka, he still could not sign with the he gets no more now by signing with the Lakers, by the way. So he could go somewhere else in offseason, not next year, the year after. Okay, Mavs -1, though. I think they do get it done. All right, let's go to college basketball, and then we can circle back to the NBA, but I just want to make sure if we have any free plays here, we could talk about them. And, hey, if you did have a big score like we did in the Super Bowl, make sure you put it in the comments. Tell us how you did. First of all, why don't you guys tell them before we go to college basketball? I mean, I'm in Cincinnati, so it's like 5-6 hours from Chicago. So, man, I didn't get the news notice and the fireworks that you guys won this big pool, but I did rumor here is that you did win the pool.
Oh yeah, I'll jump right at it, Craig. Me and Nick decided yesterday. You know what? So we bought into this pool, and it's a $6,000 payout per square, and it's a $90,000 win per square. Our number was 7 in the first quarter of that game. We ended up cashing that $90,000 square yesterday. That was the beginning of our night. Going into that night, though, early in the morning, Nick and I called each other and like, dude, and we used to do this. And there's a long backtail story to this that we're going to talk about later on. We're doing another show that starts tonight. And it's a little bit more of a parlay show, and we're going to talk about that tonight. But Nick and I have this strategy, and we've been doing it for years. I mean, almost 6-7 years, I would say. And we called each other yesterday and we're like, dude, let's cook up a nasty parlay in this game. And we put together a player prop, and it was Xavier Worthy. We gave you guys that out on the show. Anytime touchdown scorer. We had Jalen Hurts over 211 passing yards in the game. We had Devontae Smith, anytime touchdown scorer. And we had Devontae Smith over 50 yards plus receiving. I put $500 on that thing. Me and Nick both did. $12,200 cash out.
Wow.
Oh, and the Eagles to win money line. And that thing absolutely annihilated. We lit up the entire country club we were at. When Worthy went in the end zone, I jumped on Nick and backpacked him. And we were on this country club like absolute complete maniacs. So yesterday, Nick and I ended up cashing like $30,000, $40,000. absolute phenomenal day. I actually have the ticket right here on my phone. Craig, am I allowed to show this ticket?
I would not.
Okay, all right.
I would put it on social media, but make sure you
We'll put it on social media.
But you block out the pertinent stuff,
the ID and everything else. But I have the ticket pulled up in front of me. I'll post this thing. You guys can follow me at GMurphyWins, at Nick Menken. It'll be on Twitter and Instagram. We'll post our ticket out. So we cashed the $88,000 square in the first quarter. And you know what really screwed us, Craig? I don't mean to go too long. Second half, we had 7 again. Patrick Mahomes, if he doesn't throw that damn interception, man, $150K payout in the second quarter. On the 2-minute warning, he throws that pick 6, demolished us. So we would have made an additional $150,000 if Mahomes doesn't throw a damn pick. Entering postseason, 17 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. This guy decides he wants to throw a damn pick, 2-minute warning with a minute and 51 seconds left. Give me a break. Can't complain, though.
Hey,
outstanding.
I was going to say, you can't complain. You've got the you hit the trifecta, basically. I mean, I was in a million, everybody messages me when they need to sell squares because it's they just know I'm a gambler, what I do. So I buy in, for every charity, for every, doesn't matter. I'm in the Legion, the Elks, whatever. They always message me. So I'm in on all these squares. They send me all the numbers. I mean, I was never close. Because and you never just because you have good numbers. People always say good numbers, bad numbers. They don't mean shit because it just doesn't. You just don't know. I mean, there's 100 chances to win. There's 100 different squares, so it's you have 1 in 100, 1% chance each quarter. And I do think it was a really good performance by the Eagles. I want to say congratulations to them.
Absolutely.
The Chiefs. Tony George, hey, you had your time, and it doesn't mean it's over. We've seen the Patriots. The Patriots, remember, would lose and then bounce back. Now, granted, they got to fix the offensive line because, they did not blitz either. It was their front 4 of the Eagles just walked them back into the back of and ruined the game. Completely ruined the game. And they even got away with that bullshit pass interference they called early against that wasn't a pass interference that really probably would have made a completely different game, but the Chiefs had no chance in that game. Congratulations, Eagles. Now let's talk college hoops. Nick, why don't you start us off? Anything, maybe a small play? It's not a big card tonight, like you said earlier, so go small tonight. Just because you won on the Super Bowl doesn't mean you have to bet it all back today. We have all long to bet.
That's why we're staying low today, Craig. But let's go to the ACC. We got North Carolina and Clemson. Both of these teams, they're coming in this game off of wins in their last performance. Carolina just got a win over Pittsburgh, while the Clemson Tigers got a win over the number 2 Duke right there at home, 77-71. Clemson plays their best basketball here at home. They're 12-2 on the season. Carolina, on the other hand, they're only 3-5 on the road. But this line right now, it's sitting at -4.5 for Clemson. Something tells me that Clemson might be a little hungover, so to speak, after that win against Duke. I would back the North Carolina Tar Heels +4.5, rolling into Clemson. Even though they play good at home, Clemson is going to be a little hungover on that Duke win. So I would take the points with North Carolina here over Clemson +4.5 here tonight, Craig.
Don't you think this is a spot where they either win outright or get Clemson rolls? It's the points I don't even think you need. You either take UNC money line or you take Clemson minus the points, because either Clemson, like you said, hungover from the win, hungover from watching the Super Bowl, big letdown spot. North Carolina had a long time to prepare for this. They did not look good against North Carolina or against Duke either. So this is one of those spots. If North Carolina has a lot to play for here, if they lose this game, they have an uphill battle probably making the tournament, in my opinion, this year. All right, Griffin, anything little sprinkle that we can do, like a money line like that?
Absolutely it's not a money line play. It's definitely a big spread play, but it's a good matchup. You've got Baylor rolling into Houston, and Baylor comes into this game 15-8 on the year. They're 6-4 in their last 10 games. They just beat UCF on Saturday in the 91-76 final. The issue for Baylor entering this matchup, Craig, is that they only thrive on the offensive side. They rank 52nd in the nation across offensive points per game. They're 70th from the arc, and they have an offensive rating sitting at 25th in the country. Houston, though, they are the best team in the nation on the defensive side of the ball. And ladies and gentlemen, defense wins games. Houston, they are also a stout 19-4 on the year and 12-1 at home. They also do a great job covering the spread. They're 1-0 against the spread with just 1 day of rest. They played Saturday, so they got yesterday off. Probably a little hungover after the Super Bowl, but hey, rolling in, they're still outstanding. And Sampson's going to have them ready to go. I mean, that coach is just fire. So it doesn't matter the circumstance. They're 8-5 against the spread at home, and they're 8-5 against the spread as home favorites. I like Houston in this matchup. I think their defense is going to be too potent for this Baylor offense to really boost off and thrive. So I'm laying the 9.5 points here with Houston, Craig. This is my play here.
Okay. Can we say parlay? I like the over in this game. So take Houston and take the over. This Houston team is not like they're great on defense, like you said, but this is an offensively gifted team as well. They've scored some big numbers this year, and Baylor, they're not the greatest defensive team. They have some great young talent, but usually Drew's like that zone kind of slows people down. When he's played it has not looked good. They have not been great at man. They do have talent. Baylor's one of those teams that could win 2 games in the tournament, could get you to the second weekend. But this is a tough matchup at Houston on a short rest. Give me the over and give me Houston minus the points. I think this is a little parlay action for Monday. Now, let's go real quick. Let's go back to the NBA because I think, one, I want to say, been some good. The trades have looked good so far. When we saw Jimmy Butler playing for the Warriors, looked really good the second half against your Bulls, right?
Killed them.
The first half, I was like, I don't know about this. And then the second half, the third quarter, Steph went off. Fourth quarter, third and fourth quarter, Jimmy Butler played great. What do you think, Nick? You probably got to watch the game since you're a Bulls fan. What do you think of this Warriors team tonight?
I loved them. And the Warriors picking up Jimmy Butler, a lot of question marks, but he just dropped 25 with Steph Curry, looked very good in that first game. I think it's an improvement for this Warriors. I think Jimmy Butler he hears the criticism. He knows what it's about. And so he's going to go out there and perform now. And we just saw it in the first game over the Bulls. Yeah, they started slow, but hey, it's just their first game together. I think this is a very good trade for Jimmy Butler with Steph Curry. And then obviously Draymond when he gets back in the lineup there, Craig.
This line has really moved, opened in the 5s, and now it's 7. Obviously, the Bucks played yesterday. Giannis out through the All-Star game, they're saying now. Tough spot for an old Bucks team tonight. So I'm interested to see how – and I'm looking to see what Steve Kerr does because obviously we know what they're going to do when they're on the court together. But, when they start to stagger them to play with the second unit, will Jimmy Butler be the Jimmy Butler of old that can take over and give you 5 or 6 points in a 3 or 4 minute stand while Steph's on the bench resting up? And you put him next to Draymond Green, might be the best 2 on-ball defenders, 3, 4, 5 spot where they can just switch everything. I think it's going to be, Wiggins was not the toughest guy. I really like what he did to get them the championship to kind of, turn around what was a negative, where he was Minnesota. But he was not the toughest guy. A lot of 3-pointers, fadeaway jump shots. That is not what you're going to get with Jimmy Butler. So I'm excited to see what we have in that one. All right, Griffin. Now, another interesting team, and this is sometimes happens when you don't make trades. We got the Pelicans and the Thunder tonight. The Thunder really didn't make a whole lot of moves, which I kind of was surprised because they do have tons of assets as far as draft picks. So I thought they might be included in to use some of those draft picks and maybe acquire a veteran. I guess they didn't want to mess up a ton of chemistry here. What do you think of this Thunder team? Or maybe is this where they try to get some guys off of the trash heap at the next couple of weeks as we see guys get bought out?
This OKC Thunder team has just been outstanding all season long, Craig. And I just don't see any reason to not fix what's not broken. The team's 23-3 at home this season. They've won 5 games in a row. They're first in the West. I mean, this team has done everything asked from them. They have MVP candidate with Shai Alexander. I mean, dude's absolutely outstanding. This OKC Thunder team does everything right. They play good basketball on the road. They play good basketball at home. They play stout defense. They move the ball nearly faster than any team in the NBA. They score points. Their defense is outstanding. Looking at this team right now, this was a team I looked at last year and said, you know what? They're in the playoffs right now. I just don't see them winning it. I think they need to kind of confluence and get some more chemistry as a team together. You know, they had Chet. They put the team together, I feel like, last year and really formulated. Got a lot of people's hopes up, but I just knew deep down they're not going to win it this year. But going into this year, now the team is in full throttle. They're dominating everybody they play. Tonight in this matchup, they're laying 16.5 points. It's not necessarily something that I would want to put a play on. I wouldn't take a side on this. If I did, I would have to take the Pelicans just because this is the NBA, guys. This is 16.5 points. And the Pelicans, regardless to them being on how many games have they lost in a row? 8 games in a row. Just terrible basketball. They're 12-40 on the year. They're still a good team against the spread. So where would that take me? That would take me to a totals play. And because I believe the Pelicans stay competitive, we have a current line sitting at 16.5. That's an automatic liability to my eyes, in which I would look at a totals play and I would go with the under in this matchup. Because if this game does come out competitive, like I am anticipating it to be so, that's obviously going to be clock management engaged. We have a total sitting at 234.5. Craig, let me drill that under 234.5 in this matchup.
Yeah, Brandon Ingram's one of those guys that it's hard to figure out if that was a positive or negative, trading him away. He's a guy that just the talent level, you just feel like this guy, he's size, he can shoot over anybody. I mean, you cannot, if he gets into a spot and he's on, he can score over anybody. And he's a pretty good defender, but he's just he's injured a lot and his teams just don't win. That's just facts. And I think they finally realized that they were going to have to pay him in the offseason. So it was like they got something when they probably weren't going to re-sign him. So I actually think they made a good trade because they had other guys that are in that same build, or big guys that can defend, long, lengthy. Trey Murphy comes to mind. I just feel like the Pelicans are just doomed. You lose Chris Paul. He trades away. Anthony Davis. Okay, you get Zion. Oh, he's injured every year.
Every game, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it's all right. So there's what you have for today, Docs Daily. We're a little shorter show than normal because the spread or the lines really just aren't there. We got no NHL for the next couple weeks. So, but what we're going to do to fill in here, we're going to be looking a little deeper dive and the NBA here until the NBA trade deadline. So we're going to add in each day, we're going to add in a player prop segment. So we're going to give a player prop each instead of an NHL. So you're still going to get approximately 9 free plays every day by listening in, but won't be in the NHL. At least not. We're going to have some of those tournament games to bet on here, Nick. So maybe we'll have a little gem here and there over the next 2 weeks. But for the most part, we won't have any NHL. So there's you have Monday's show. Don't forget, use that free 60. Go to DocSports.com/free 60. If you're a new customer, you'll get $60 to use. I have a top play in the NBA. Nick has an NBA. Hey. Griffin says, hey, small day doesn't matter. He's got a top play or a big play in soccer, NBA, and college hoops. So
we're rolling, baby.
Get in on it.
All stops pulled.
I'm looking at tomorrow. I haven't seen all the lines come out in college basketball. I have a couple circled that potentially, you never know because, you got to see exactly where the line comes out. But if it comes out right, going to have either a 7 or 8 unit. It'd be right. I'm on the borderline on that as far as where the line comes out. So you got to save back, some of those, on the table, on the blackjack table, you don't always just keep stacking it up. Sometimes you got to pull it back a little bit. So pull it back and we'll save some for tomorrow. So have a great day, guys. Good luck. And we'll see you back on Tuesday, 1:00 Eastern Standard Time.